Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. I, 37/M, have lost the respect for my partner, 37/F. Long story short, we have been married for 5 years or so now and have a toddler. For the last couple of years, one of her aunts, not direct, lived with us. I have nothing against the old lady, but she annoyed me every day. She is simply just one of those people that talk too much. During that period, we fought a lot over the old lady, yet my wife always defended her and picked her side and always told me to just let her live in peace. I feel like our relationship deteriorated over that period of time, and having her pick the old lady over me was disappointing. In the end, the old lady did something big behind my wife's partner and the old lady left. Sweet karma for both, I guess. Couple of months later, my wife started to reconnect with old friends, which I have no problem with as I know them. She started going out here and there, but as of late, it has been on a regular basis and she comes home late, like 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. I don't have a problem with her going out, but going out and coming back so late is pretty crazy. Even when I go out with my friends, I barely even last past midnight. She was a party animal when we first met and we had lots of problems because of that. I feel like she is going back to that stage again. Before, she didn't even want to go out drinking. She was happy just to be home with the kid and I. The kid and I, family, were the priority, but in the last couple of months, her friends seem to be the priority. I don't want to deal with the same party animal from the beginning again. After all, we have a family now. It is okay to go drinking, but on a regular basis when you have a family, and staying out really late is just stupid in my opinion. We aren't in the 20s anymore. So where do I go from here? For me personally, once I lose the respect for someone, it's hard for me to give it back, and even harder to look at the person the same again. What was the falling out over? Do you think this might be a byproduct of her aunt's incident and leaving? Wasn't because of her aunt leaving. She even admitted that she took care of that lady more than her own sister, which she regretted. I have no idea why she started to go out again. She never had the urge, even when she did the last few years. She would come home early and even said she didn't even feel like drinking anymore, but seems to be the opposite the last few months. Yeah, probably right. I mean, as said before, she would come home early, but not the last few months. I guess it's time to get ready to move on. It's weird she does that. Maybe you need to dig more or confront her. Things were still great a couple of weeks ago. But while I was away, she went out and left the kid with a nanny. I got the shit and sent her a text while abroad, saying we had a rule in place that one of us should at least be with the kid while the other was away. She never replied, and things have been shit since I came back. It smells a little like shit. She waits for you to go to do that behind your back. You don't think a man is behind that, or her friends try to leave you? Sorry if my English is bad. I have some trouble with words sometimes. Your wife seems to have detached herself from the marriage and the family life. It seems to me that she is missing her old times, which shows immaturity, but perhaps also, somewhat, age crisis. I would sit her down and have a serious talk, no shouting or anger, express your deep concerns and perhaps suggest couples therapy. If she brushes all that off, I would start thinking about divorce, as it will only get worse. Do you think she might be fooling around or cheating with other men? Taking a break in a marriage. Good or bad? After some feedback and experience, and how did things end up after you took a break from your marriage? Took a break. Her idea. I found out it was to shag other people. Would never do it again. If it was suggested, I'd just walk away from the relationship. Seems like usually it's because of someone else. So sad. I don't think it's a good idea ever to take a break in romantic relationships. It's not a car you could jump in and out of. If you can't solve an issue so bad you feel like you have to take a break, you are going downhill most likely. You are supposed to be a team. Breaks mean you aren't working together on the problem. And yay, most of the time it also means, well, I wanna have fun but wanna hold you in reserve in case I have no other option. Going through this now. He told me he is moving out today. Following. It really depends on the marriage and reasons. If it's to date other people it's bad, might as well divorce. If it's to get perspective and a kick in the butt to work on the relationship, then it's good. My parents separated, they both worked on themselves and realized what their marriage mean, after 9 months gave it another chance and they've never had a better marriage. It can be a catalyst for change and to fight for marriage. Cheating partner of 10 years. My other thread was removed because it didn't have a question. My question is, how do I move forward quickly? I know everyone said it takes time. We'll be signing divorce in 2 weeks. The cheating occurred 2 months ago. Backstory. Been together for 10 or close to it and married for 5. She cheated with an old 60-year-old dude. We just hit our 40s with a beautiful 3-year-old daughter. Devastated for my kid who won't have a normal family but just a mom and a dad. She keeps saying she needs time and other weak excuses to find herself and happiness, but yet won't come back to the family. Friends and family said they would never accept her after cheating. She didn't even try to redeem herself. Still say she loves me and wants a family but needs time at the moment and suggests we separate and go on our ways then come back later. I think it's dumb. I am not into that. I got married because I want to spend time with that one person. Edit. I think the worst part is that she doesn't even want to come back to the family and try to fix it. Just want to run off with the old guy. Go and see your lawyer first. Tell her in no uncertain terms that there is no coming back together and that anyway, she is now spoiled goods and no one wants that. And you start moving on with your life without her in it. Get yourself some therapy, work out what co-parenting with her is going to be like, but for the time being, and until your divorce is sorted out, play it very neutral towards her. So no angry outbursts, no pleading for her to change, etc. Just shut down on her and not be her fallback position. You have a life to rebuild and she can't be a part of it. Just let your attorney handle it. However, inform your attorney you want her served ASAP. You want to rush to get this divorce finalized quickly. Also, I might add, your family and friends are 100% absolutely right. Never ever take back this cheater who abandoned her family. She is not worthy of you or your daughter's time. Good luck, op. You have some good people in your corner. Partner of 10 years. Cheated on. Need support. Short story. Been together close to 19. Married for 5 and a beautiful 3-year-old kid. 6 months ago. Old friends came back into her life. She starts going out more and staying out even later. Last 3 months. I felt she was seeing someone. I went away but had a gut instinct. Came back early and asked my nanny who my wife went away with on the weekend and she spilled the beans. My wife lied to my face for 3 days as she didn't know my nanny spilled the beans. She cheated on me with a 60-year-old guy. We both just hit our 40s. Originally, I begged her to come back to the family for the sake of our kid, but she kept saying she needs time and so forth. Fast forward 7 weeks later. Waiting for paperwork to divorce in 2 weeks. She was my best friend and we did everything together. I am better now. But I will never understand why she threw away 10 years just like that and our kid. I asked her why and she said she didn't mean to, but she still wants to date this guy. She wants time away then comes back to the family later. So pushing for the divorce. I was still a wreck 2 weeks ago, but friends and family I am back to about 7/10. 2 weeks ago I was probably 1/10. So what do I do to keep going? I can't say I miss her, but she was the only one I talked to every day and no matter what or where we were always chatting via texts. I feel bad for my daughter too, as she doesn't deserve this. I am pushing the divorce quickly to let her know there will never be an opportunity for her to come back to. It has thrown so many plans to disarray. How to distract myself and how to keep going. I will never understand why she did it. We had a good family and everyone loved her. It was not perfect and we argued like any couple, but in the end, she wanted someone to treat her like a lady. And she always said she just wanted to feel special for a bit then come back to the family. And she always said she just wanted to feel special for a bit then come back to the family. Holy.ducking.shit. Up, stay strong and file for divorce. She has no remorse. None. Remember, she is at best only a few years with an old guy. Find someone who deserves you, and have a great life. Let her have to wipe an old man's ass and she will be wondering what the hell possessed her. Parents had a friend like this. She left because her boss was older and rich. So, 10 years have passed, and my boss has had a stroke. She is the dutiful GF, bathes him and cleans up after him. He dies, and guess what, he never got divorced. Wife and kids get it all, she gets shown the door. Sure, a few lawyers tried to get her to empty her bank account, but she knew that all she was to the boss was an easy lay. He knew all too well what he did to her. She knew it too. So her new life included the words, "Would you like fries with that?" Has she been served yet? I ask because many times that snaps them out of it. If it doesn't, then it's definitely a lost cause. What snapped my cheater out of it was when I started seeing other women, was having a blast, and was very happy. Give it a try. First, you need individual counseling to help you through this crisis. Your wife may be in an affair fog, but she has definitely checked out of your marriage and your life. From what you have described, even if she wanted to reconcile, would you ever be able to trust her again? Divorce is ugly, but at least it is finite. You will get better with time, but it will take a while to get there. I just read up about affair fog and it sounded exactly like what she is doing. I mean, this is not the same person that had morals and ethics and principles. No one can actually believe this is the same person we all knew. I did want to reconcile originally for my daughter, but a lot of people asked me that one day she will come back when she wakes up. Can I really take her back? Not down the track, but if she is willing to fight for the family, then maybe. They're always ready to fight for the family, after they have had their fun and gotten what they want. Then yeah, they are always ready to have it rug swept and to have what they have destroyed get over it and go on with them as if it was nothing. Yeah, they are always ready to fight for the family. But should the family fight for a person like them? Thoughtful face. If she does want to reconcile, then she is the one that's going to have to do the heavy lifting. She is going to have to help you recover from the horror that she created and restore your dignity. A famous first lady once said that nobody can rob you of your dignity without your consent. Don't ever let her do that to you again. Can I really take her back? Not down the track, but if she is willing to fight for the family, then maybe. That's up to you to decide, but in the right here, right now, you have more important things to worry about. At this point in time, you need to be selfish, for yourself and for your child. Your soon-to-be ex-wife is an adult and is free to make her own decisions regardless of whether they are good or bad. Her decision to step out of your marriage and out of your life is taken, so now you make your decisions for you. Whatever effect this has on her is not your problem. You make your decisions purely for what you want. And if in the future she realizes she made a mistake and wants to come back, then in the future you can worry about what to do if and when it occurs. It may never, and the chances of it never happening are pretty high, so I would not even think about this for a long time to come. Sounds like she's in limerence with the old man. https://n.m.wikipedia.org/wiki/limerence. There's a lot of videos on YouTube about it. It won't last and everybody knows it. It's up to you to decide what to do after she comes back to your family. Well, to be fair, this old guy is not the type she would have dated. That's why it is such a big surprise. She said he treats her nicely, like pour water and stuff. I mean, I am sure I have done that before, and I am sure most of the time waiters/waitresses have poured our waters. Sounds like he is putting his best forward and courting her. But let's face it, real life has to happen at some point. Read Leave a Cheater, Gain a Life, and it will bring you clarity. Glad you are fighting for your daughter. Update us op. Not much. Divorce is next week. She doesn't want to sign the custody agreement as she said her words should be good enough. If she doesn't sign it, then I will take her to court. Not sure if my chance of winning. But she moved on really fast. She has a plan of travel with the old due all the way till September. Talk about moving on fast. 10 years, 3-year-old kid and cheated. Update 2. Need support. Not much to update except after 2 months after the incident. The divorce is next week. It is a fast one to ensure there is no return for her, as kept asking for time to find herself. I am still stumped as to why she ruined her own image/reputation. Did stress finally got to her? Or did she finally snap? Or is she just a moron? I mean, nothing to brag about cheating with a 69-year-old dude. We just hit our 40s. But why would she throw away her reputation/image for this old dude? It will take years to repair the image, or maybe even lifetime if she wants to. This is what frustrates me the most, as how a good, kind-hearted person, that has all the right ethics and so forth, throws everything under the bus. I and a lot of people doubt this new relationship will ever last, and pretty sure she was not even thinking long-term. Edit. I will have my kid with me in July for school while the kid goes back to her during holiday, so I get most times with my kid. She cried and said, what happens if the kid forgets her mom? I didn't say anything. I told her we can alternate birthdays, and she said the kid would love to have her mom and dad together for her birthday. I said I am sure the kid would want mom and dad every day, but that's not going to happen now. She's a selfish cheater and nothing more. You can see this in her responses. It's always about her. She's crying over not seeing her kid, and she's saying your 3-year-old would be much happier with both partners. It's all bullshit manipulation. This woman hasn't taken an ounce of responsibility over what happened. Don't try to wrap your head around why this happened. Maybe she had a midlife crisis or something, or she's just extremely selfish and valued her affair over you and the marriage, and her morals and all of that. You deserve a better op. You'll be much happier after the divorce, just give it time. Things are moving along quickly for you. D-Day 10 days ago. Divorce in 2 months. Good for you. When the divorce goes through, post the news and name/PM your favorite drink. I can't buy you around, bro, but I will toast your freedom that day. I love your response to her comment about the birthday. You also are a testament to how quickly a divorce can happen, at least in your state/situation. So many people are afraid to pull the trigger because they imagine divorce to be some long, arduous, terrible monster of a thing. I know your situation is tough, but you sound like you're going strong. Good for you. Also, the finality of it all. You are seeing the real her. The charade is over. I'm sorry, she's a terrible person. This may help you with the manipulation. She may try to contest the divorce and get more money out of you, or lie and say it's over while still seeing him. In any case, she's very narcissistic. A woman with a 3-year-old and committed husband should not cheat. Good luck and stay strong. These things follow a pretty linear path from her deciding something is missing in her relationship and this old dude being available to provide it. She is not cheating with him because of anything else, just that one thing. And equally weird is that sex may never have not been the goal, right? What woman in her 40s wants sex with a man 30 years older, but is simply the byproduct of the emotional intimacy that first developed? I know it makes no sense, but if you research and dig hard enough into the neuroscience of love and cheating, there is a method, reason to the madness. The lies, the deception, the omissions, the gaslighting, the blame shifting, etc. also has a cause. Dissonance theory in psychology says that when our brains are forced to confront two or more things that are totally at odds, like cheating, our psyche has to protect itself from insanity by using cognitive tricks to continue. Sure, none of this makes sense to us because we can only feel the negative effects of what they have caused by cheating on us. And very true, not everyone cheats, but with the huge percentages of men and women cheating, it can no longer be considered as less of a problem than it is. Knowledge is power, and I now feel empowered that if I ever get another chance at love, I will do much better than in the past. We truly are nothing more than animals with bigger brains and the ability to reason, but still resigned to being controlled by our thoughts and chemicals secreted from our brains. These chemicals are what causes love and waning love as they slowly drain away. They are extremely addictive and we will search to get them back. An alcoholic or heroin addict looks to satisfy the craving. The trick is to know what is going on in the first place and knowing how to keep the love chemicals present. Once they are in the affair fog, in love they are fully committed and unable to think with any sort of logic. It is an altered state of reality, they simply cannot see their way out and are not even considering it. Look it up, you will never look at relationships the same way again. This is all caused by lack of true communication and truly getting to know one another, beyond the mundanities of day-to-day life. It all starts with picking our partners, knowing how to find a suitable partner, how to truly get to know them, what a healthy relationship consists of and how to maintain it. Look up how to truly get to know your wife on the highest level of intimacy. There are many sites with in-depth explanations and advice. You asked and I tried to answer, little comfort in the answers, but I did try. Have you also looked up what it takes to reconcile and recover? There is zero chance she will remain with old dude. Nearly no affair ever exceeds the 3-year mark, simply because they are based upon everything wrong to begin with. The most obvious question is, does the AP have dollar? If so, your WW might be doing a little gold digging. That's usually the only reason a woman will go for a man that old. I told her we can alternate birthdays and she said the kid would love to have her mom and dad together for her birthday. I said I am sure the kid would want mom and dad every day, but that's not going to happen now. Slow clap. I've done work posted a good explanation. Logic and feelings both come from the brain. There are chemicals in the brain that can cause some feelings. It is possible for a person to be completely selfish and cheat because of that, but often you read here about a spouse who was not selfish through a long-term relationship, then apparently becomes selfish. The most common reason, I think, in a situation like yours, wife emotionally in love with another man, is based on attention. In your case, it seems your wife wanted to be catered to more, but in a general sense, what she is getting, what most cheating wives in situations like your wife, is that it is a relatively continuous, constant stream of positive attention. Frequent texting, sexting, she is hot, she is funny, she has a great personality, she is pretty, she is complicated, she is honest, she's a great mother, she's a great wife, etc., 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 and then it also turns to your husband should treat you better, you deserve it. If I was your husband I'd spend every waking moment letting you know how great you are, so he's love bombing your wife, and comparing himself favorably to you, and your wife was at a vulnerable point to let him in. It just doesn't happen instantly, like love at first sight. She had to listen to his stuff for a while before she started to jump ship. It might take a week for it to take hold, maybe a little longer. There is human nature, usually there are cliches for them, like the grass is always greener, or you take for granted your good fortune, health, financial stability, nice family, etc., and focus on what we don't have, a husband who shows love by constantly showering me with attention. She knew who you were, she knew you were the type of guy who showed your love by taking care of her financially, be there for her, loyal, but she maybe always wished for the things you weren't. And for whatever reason, she was ripe for it at that time. Just a small point, but the chemical machine you refer to is also a conglomeration of experiences. Those experiences make us more or less susceptible to cheating, especially when the experiences cause low self-esteem, which leads some to be susceptible to need reinforcement of that self-esteem, and they excuse it with something that was missing. You do deserve better. The grass looks greener in his garden. No weeds like the garden you've created together. But remember, every garden has weeds and she doesn't have the tool to get the weeding done. There's another awesome girl out there for you. Stop thinking about her. Think about your kid and yourself. Do something every day that's for you and relight your eternal flame. Losing your best friend, wife, lover because of her selfish decision, not yours. You'll never know why. Best to stop looking for it. As much as people think they know someone close to us, we actually never truly know anyone. Question for the women? Is sex a physical thing or a connection thing, or a bit of both for women? I am curious, as my wife of 10 years cheated on me with someone who is not her type. I mean, even the guys she dated before marrying me were the total opposite of who she cheated with and is dating now. Edit. We both just hit our 40s. My wife is a looker, for a 40-year-old, but the other dude is close to 60s, and trust me, he ain't a looker. He is old and fat. And no, it's not money, I think, as she has her own. I'm very sorry your wife cheated. That sucks. For me, it's a strong mix of the both, physical pleasure and the emotional connection. Depends on the woman and the relationship/sex. And people can have more than one type. For me, I feel that sex and love are two totally different things. Sometimes I have sex with the person I love and sometimes not. And it's almost always enjoyable, just different. Well, sex is a physical thing, yes. Relationships are another thing. I definitely need a strong connection with a person to enjoy sex, but I can have sex without it. It just isn't the same. Sorry that happened to you. Firstly, sorry she cheated on you. It's a heartbreaking, soul crash spot to be in. My ex cheated on me 3 times during our 20 years marriage. It's both. There has to be some attraction to get girly juices going, but sometimes it is the fact they're not your norm that makes them desirable. This is only my opinion based on what I need to get in between the sheets with someone. For me, it's both, but definitely more of a connection thing. Sex and love are deeply connected for me. I only have sex within a committed relationship. It's physical and emotional. I never liked casual sex because it made me empty. It can be both sometimes. There were times I just wanted to get off and times where there was a connection. Update: 10 years with 3-year-old. Update: short background. Nearly 10 years. Wife wanted time to go off to a happy place and come back to the family. Caught her running off with old dude in his 60s. We are in 40s. No money issue or anything. This old dude must be one smooth talker. She done the opposite of what she believed in as a person. I think maybe a mental snap, a fair fog, or whatever. No valid excuse. She was my best friend for 10 years and did everything. I did not feel bad about cheating, but the fact she threw away her own reputation like this and her own family for some old fool. Don't care if he is the king of the universe. Fast forward 2 months later. Divorced. Custody agreement, and my kid will come live with us in July. I was in a mess because the pain of not seeing the kid made me cry so much. But managed to turn things around quickly and detached myself emotionally. I know it is hard, but if I can do it, then you all can do it. I am not going to lie. I do miss my best friend, but her head is not right in the place, and for her own sake, I hope she wakes up sooner than later. I still see the good in her. She just mixed up with the same shitty group and went back to the same circle of life. 3 weeks ago I was told I was 1/10, now I am apparently 8/10. You will be on an emotional roller coaster ride for a while. Your whole world has blown up, and that is tough to deal with. I discovered my wife's affairs 2 weeks after she died in early 2005. I knew both the men that she was intimate with. It took me 6 years to get my head screwed on straight. However, the end result was that I no longer date, and even if I do meet someone I will not get into a committed relationship ever again. I don't need the aggravation. I actually enjoy being on my own. Mate, I've no idea how old you are or what your story is, but don't let that shit have any effect on you. If you're genuinely happy then brilliant, but don't pretend that not getting close to someone else is the right call. There's a lot of shit people in the world and your wife was clearly one of them, but there's some brilliant ones out there too. I know it must feel like your judgment of character is off or you can't trust people, but you can, just keep your eyes peeled, that's all. I'm alone a lot and it's shit. No one really likes being alone, people just say that to make themselves feel better. It's bloody awful, and whilst I have my own hills to climb, it's obvious you wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for your wife. Don't let that shit get you down, mate, but I guess do whatever makes you happy. I am a man in my mid-70s and most women that I meet are way too conservative for me. And some of the first meetings that I have had are like a combination of an FBI interrogation and a colonoscopy. I am not looking for a committed relationship, nor am I looking for sex. At the end of the day I enjoy quiet and solitude. I have tried senior dating sites with virtually no response, and I am still a decent looking guy with a great sense of humor and diverse interests. I live close to Washington, D.C., and within a 25-mile radius of my home the population is about 10 million people, so out there I know that there is a woman who will have similarities to me. 1/10 8/10, what does that mean? As in mentality wise. 1/10 I was messed up and 8/10 I became strong mentally and was able to organize and deal with everything quickly. Why is your kid living with her? Living with her for now. Otherwise massive custody fight. So after July, the kid will live with me. I hope it works out like that. Selfish people are reluctant to give up custody no matter what a court says. Once a man, twice a child. Applies to women as well. From now on, things are going to get better for you and worse for her. Be prepared for a tearful wreck on your doorstep. Be strong up. She has nothing that you need and will just bring the pain and uncertainty back into your life. Good luck. The only good that you should seeing in your wife is a goodbye. She destroyed you and your marriage. She is not worthy of your love. I know. I sat in my hotel room and achieved what I set out as a quick divorce and custody agreement to what I want but still feel hollow. Just a question, how do you know what she believes in? You cannot see in her mind, so you had to have relied on what she told you and the actions you observed were correct? Basically we never know somebody that well where we can say what goes on in their minds, we can only filter it through our own processes and come to some conclusion on what they are and how they are based on their words and actions. Now you are saying that you also cheated correctly? Well, let me ask you this, did she know that the cheating was out of character for you? No judgment here, just saying that you may have blindsided her also. But glad that you are doing better, because it is one of the major stresses in life when a relationship dies. You go through the same grieving process for that death also, which is denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and finally acceptance. Acceptance does not mean forgetting, it means you come to a mentally suitable arrangement with death. Why be friends with a cheater for the sake of our kid? Advice: we have a 3-year-old kid and everyone says we need to be friends for the sake of our kid. Well, if you care about the kid then you shouldn't have cheated in the first place. I offer alternate birthday years and she is like our kid would want us for her birthday. I was like, you think one day will make a difference? I am sure our kid wants her parents every day, but you gone and messed that up. She keeps saying we need to stay friends so we can go on family trips together. I mean, we are divorced. As far as I am concerned there are no family trips whatsoever from this moment on. I think my life would be a lot easier without her, but I am stuck with her for life because of our kid. 2 months since D-Day. Divorce was done last week and I haven't spoken to her, day 4. She called last night but I didn't pick up nor reply to her text. It can't be anything important, otherwise she would have said something. I am trying to go no contact for 4 weeks, which is when I will pick my kid to stay with me for 3 weeks. How do people do this when they try to keep communication to a minimum but with a kid involved? I always joke around that I hope she marries this guy and moves to the country and just leaves me and my daughter alone, but everyone said their relationship won't last and she will crawl back wanting a family, which is 99% a no for me. Edit, to be fair, she was a great person for 9 years. I think she had a mental snap plus shit friends came back into her life. I mean, she is paying my business class ticket to pick up my kids, so I think the old person that I once knew is like 20% still there. Unfortunately, it will be impossible to have no contact with your WW going forward. But you can definitely minimize contact. No phone calls. Let her calls go to voicemail. Text or email only. Never respond immediately unless your child is in danger. Take 24 hours to think about a response. This will help you only to respond to anything to do with your child. Do not respond to anything that is not about your child. There are some co-parenting agendas available online. I have not tried them, but have friends that successfully use them. You must ignore anything that is not child-related. Child handovers for visitation should only take 2 minutes with little to no conversation. Ignore any attempts by her to interact. Child-related matters only. Please, whatever you and she does, keep it civil. Totally agree that events should be separate. 2 Christmases for the child, 2 birthdays, whatever. There is no way, as new sows appear in the picture, that things will still be friendly with your ex. She's smoking something. My WH's divorced parents actually fought constantly at handoffs. He and his brother would be preparing to go to Christmas, second Christmas, with his dad, and then their mom would tell them no. Next thing they know, the mom has their uncles out front telling the dad to go away. His parents had a really nasty divorce. BTW, that's why he swore to me over and over again that he would never cheat. Boy, was that a lie. There is software that you can use to keep communication to a minimum. I agree that you don't have to be friends with your ex, it makes no sense. Basically showing your child that disrespect and abuse are okay? Basically showing your child that disrespect and abuse are okay? A 3-year-old probably isn't aware of infidelity. Or at least shouldn't be. And most people will tell you to keep the reason for the divorce away from the child. So if you follow that advice, you're stuck refusing to openly communicate with a parent that, to the knowledge of a child, hasn't really done much wrong. What results is confusion for the child and perhaps blaming the parent that is putting up the higher communication boundary. Kinda sucks. You share a daughter and that will lead to some shared time. Weddings, graduation, school and life events. You don't have to be friends, but it is good to be friendly. I wouldn't go on a vacation with my ex-wife if she paid, but I see her at sporting events with the kids from time to time, high school swim meet 2 weeks ago, choir performances and plays, and I know there will be weddings, and events with grandkids in the future. About 7 years ago one of our boys had his appendix taken out and I had to spend a few hours with her when she came to visit him. During this time I realized just how much she annoys me. She irritates the hell out of me, but even so I'm friendly for the kids. I think that it is important to have a good co-parenting relationship with your ex. I am open to trading weekends whenever I don't have something planned. We trade holidays year to year. I have the kids invite her to events because it is good to be supported. I accommodate her whenever I don't have a clear reason not to. I try to make what is good for the kids the priority. I am the custodial parent, but I only tell her no when there is good reason to do so. My current wife and I were discussing that same boy's upcoming high school graduation and how my ex will act like she's the good mom and she's responsible for his accomplishment. The reality is she sees them every other weekend, doesn't pay child support and has to be badgered to even pay half of the school fees. She doesn't help with homework or encourage school work. She gets mad when they participate in extracurricular activities because they can cut into her weekends. But there she'll be acting like mom of the year. It irritates the hell out of my wife, who more even than myself is responsible for him graduating. I have to remind her that the day isn't about us, it's about him. You don't have to be friends, but I recommend being friendly for the kids. You don't have to be friends. Be civil and polite though, and recognize your daughter is to be put above any fighting or bickering. You can either act an ass and show your kid mama had a point, or you can be there for your kid and let her process who was the real adult. It's not going to happen immediately, but if you raise her right, she'll know. You don't need to be friends with your cheating ex. You do have to be civil and polite, but I figure most of us are grown-ups and can manage that. Look up parallel parenting and grey rock communication. It helps so much when you have to deal with your cheater in terms of co-parenting and want to go no contact but can't because you share a child. I think of my ex as a co-worker that I have to deal with. I am distant and courteous, but I don't make friendly chit-chat and I don't engage with them outside of childcare logistics. My ex too had these fantasies of being best friends with me despite his disrespect, deception and betrayal. He talked of taking family trips together and still celebrating occasions as a family. After I left, my cheating ex would try to be affectionate and helpful with me when we did handoffs of our child. I shut that down pretty fast, especially considering he has never apologized for cheating, never shown any empathy or acknowledged the awfulness of what he's done. Then he would get upset with me and try to bait me during handoffs. I would respond with a simple "I'm sorry you feel that way," or simply in the most neutral uninvolved voice ever, especially whenever he complained about having to split childcare expenses because he was strapped for cash now that he was living on his own. Gosh, maybe he should have thought about that possibility before hooking up with his druggy hipster AP. Now he mirrors me when we communicate and it's great, no emotional energy being exchanged at all, and it's helped me move on. I miss the family that we used to be. We were definitely at our best as a family unit, and I thought it was worth saving, but he didn't. That was his choice that we all have to live with. But having these very clear boundaries around co-parenting has actually been a great act of self-love and self-care. I have the peace and self-respect that comes from living free of disrespect and deception, and I can't tell you how awesome it feels. Amen. I won't do it. I won't be mean, but I'm not going to pretend she's a good person and be a PR rep for her. I wouldn't be friends with anyone that did what she did. You do not have to be friends, you have to be civil to each other in front of the child, and you have to be available when the child needs something, which is and should be your only connection. Lots of spouses want to have the stability from the relationship but want the sex with someone else. I say let them find both with someone new. How can you be friends with someone who lied to your face and stabbed you in the back? Treat her like you would an untrustworthy business partner that you have to deal with. You don't have to be friends, but sadly I feel that no contact is impossible when you have a child. I have no proof as I don't have a wife or kids, but I feel like you still have to communicate with her. But only about your child. I assume she really means she wants to keep you emotionally on the back burner in case she needs a backup plan or a shoulder to cry on. I go with what the other commenters say, keep her as a business partner, cordial, and all conversation should only pertain to the child, and nothing more. Some people find that having a separate phone means that only she knows the number of works best. In this fashion you keep that part of your life separate, she only contacts you on that and no one else does. It also means that you are isolating her from the rest of your life. Something comes through on your normal phone and you know it's not her, something on the other phone and it can only be her. You can block her number on your normal phone then. Get her and any of her family/friends off your social media and just keep her completely separate from your new life. And make it clear to her that your co-parenting will be business as usual, but that you will not be discussing any other aspect of your life, her life, or even the weather. So you have made a decision that was right for you, which was divorce. She made a decision to cheat. All people have to live with their decisions. You are going through the grieving process of denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and finally acceptance. It sounds like you are at the last stage, and now you could have cordial contact or no contact. You are now at the stage where you can decide what the future relationship with your ex will look like. It will never be the old one that is dead. Notice I said this is your decision. It could be no contact, cordial contact, friends with benefits, another full relationship. It is up to you, but do not let her or the child or relatives or friends make that decision. It has to be what is good for you. I can't follow all the details, but if you're long distance, it's probably easier to be less connected. People say this due to a kid's perspective. Having a mom and dad that won't talk or will not talk is hard. That division is forever in the child's life. And sure, you can absolutely blame her for those choices, but you're responsible for the choice of no contact, or low contact, versus taking the emotional beating that she's asking you to via family vacations etc. You'll have to find your own middle ground. But the goal, eventually, is about her. When you have that, you can make choices for your child out of what is best for the child. Limit contact to emails. Absolutely separate birthday parties if that is what you need. Hard no on vacations together. She is a typical cheater. I want a new relationship and the old one. She's not your friend. She is not your pal. Limit the contact. If 20% of the old person is still there, that means 80% of the new crappy and unfaithful person is there. You can't maintain a relationship with that. Take care of yourself and your child, and don't forget you have no say and no control in what your ex does otherwise. Sorry, but there is no future with all of you together. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are.